Are you anxious to use your Cricut, but the only option you have is to use your phone? Are you afraid you're going to ruin your projects? I'm going to show you how to use Design Space using your phone. Now you can feel more comfortable and confident in crafting from your phone.
Please subscribe and ring the bell.
Today I'm going to be showing you how to use your Cricut Design Space app on your phone or iPad. It does have similarities to your computer, but it does also have a few differences on where to find things. So let's get started. So this is your home screen, which is very similar to the computer. The only thing that is different on here is if you're trying to look for your previous projects, which if you click on the categories section up here, your projects are going to be here if you've saved them on the cloud or on your phone directly. And then also this is where you would also find the categories, like if you're looking for any free projects, what's free this week, or any Cricut Access ideas. Let's go ahead and open up a new blank project. So the top button up here is just basically your information and the setup for your Cricut machine. And then this is the save button. Over here, if you're looking to get back to that main screen, you kind of move this switch over to home. And then this one, the middle is the canvas, and then you slide it over to the right if you're ready to make it, which we don't have any projects up here, so we can't make it at this time. On the bottom here, the image. So for me, I'm not a Cricut Access member at this time, so I like to go to highlighted categories and go to free this week. And that is going to pull up everything that is free this week. I'm going to just show you a couple examples. I'm just going to bring a few things up here and show you what we can do with them. Actually going to type here hearts too. And then we'll click a couple of these. Okay, so those will insert these onto our canvas. The basic information for this one, the X will delete it, this will rotate the image, this will resize it, and this will unlock it if you want to change the positioning of it, if you want to make it longer or skinnier. And then that will relock it if you like that way, and then it will keep that same orientation. The next button over here is text. Here, the first category is the Cricut category, and these are almost all Cricut Access or purchased fonts. So if you go to System, this is going to be all of the fonts that come with free on Cricut or any of the fonts that you have downloaded. So what I'm going to do here is just show you some text. I'm just going to click on Arial, and then we're going to just write hello here just for a few minutes when we get to that. Okay, so the next one are shapes. I am actually going to show you briefly how we can overlap and slice these hearts. Okay, so these are all the shapes that are free that come with Cricut, including lines to enter in if you want to put a line for a card or something there. All right, so the upload button, I'm going to just show you briefly how to upload an image off of a search. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. We're going to close out Cricut Design Space for a minute. And I'm going to just go to Safari here. And I'm going to search free dog clip art. Okay, so I'm going to take this one, and then basically all you need to do is say add to photos. And then we'll go back and close this and then go back into Design Space. Okay, and then when you click on upload, you just say select from photo, and then you can click on the dog. And then now you're ready to actually clean it up. So for this, we're going to want to erase the background. So I'm going to click on the remove tool and we're going to remove the background here. And I'm going to just keep him the way it is right now. And it's just going to be the outline. If there are a lot of bumpy lines here and stuff, sometimes that happens, you can despeckle and smooth, which is a really cool option that they do not have on the computer. So this actually does make it a little bit easier to smooth and despeckle using your phone on these images. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. I'm going to keep it as a cut image. If you do want to use a print and cut, like to make this as a sticker and keep the colors that it has, then I would click on the print and cut, but I'm going to just do cut, and then we'll name it dog and hit done. Okay, and then we can go ahead and insert our image. Perfect. The next thing is going to be the actions. All right, so the next button is actions. Okay, this has a lot in here. So the first thing I'm going to show you is for our text for hello. So all of these, since we typed it together, are stuck together. So if I want to rearrange hello, then I would hit ungroup, and that is actually going to make each letter individual. So if I wanted to fit hello into my heart here, then I would just ungroup this and then resize my letters. Here. And I think you get the idea here. So then you can resize, you can angle, you can do all kinds of stuff here to get it to fit if you wanted it to go into this heart. All right, so there's that. Okay, so the attach button is very similar to group, except for when you group things and you go to print, it still will keep it likely in a scattered order in the most efficient way to print. So if you hit attach, this will be, basically it keeps it in the same area. Attach can be actually detached. Go ahead and ungroup these, and I'm going to move the heart out of the way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this and hit attach. That is going to keep these letters in the same group. If I put attach to this with the heart behind it, it is going to make it, or all pink, which is not what we're wanting to do. So basically that's attaching it, saying that it's going to print these all together as a whole. So you can detach it, but when you detach it, it keeps it the same color. So basically attach is going to keep them all together in the same order, in the same shape as they are. You definitely want to do that if you have a whole bunch of writing, so then you don't have to rearrange all of the letters and print them all randomly. You want them attached. But again, if once you attach, you're able to detach them, which is great. Welding, on the other hand, is very important for many things, but that one is not reversible like attaching. So I'm going to show you a fun little technique. So we're going to do this with these hearts here. So I'm going to angle these, and I'm going to use the slicing tool. So the key for the slicing tool is it can only be 2 separate items at a time. I cannot slice all of this together. It has to be welded. So this whole item, if I wanted to slice hello into it, I would have to weld this first, then put it in front of the heart. So then when I hit slice, it is slicing hello out of the heart. So you can use a slicing tool for instance, for these two hearts. So I have them angled this way, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight those and slice. And then what I'm gonna do is take out this little piece, and there's two of them, and I'm gonna erase this heart. And I'm gonna keep this heart here and add one more. And I'm just gonna angle it over. And here, now you have a nice overlapping heart. So the slicing tool is great for so many different things. I've really had a lot of fun using that. But it is important, if the slicing tool does not show up here, it is because the thing that you're trying to slice through it is not welded together. So you're gonna need to make sure that the whole thing that you're trying to slice into it is welded prior to slicing. So if you are doing stickers, that is what you want to use the flatten tool for. The flatten will allow it to be a print and cut, and that is really the main thing that I have found so far that you would need the flatten button for. And again, flatten and unflatten can be reversed if you are planning on, or if you want to change your mind. The next one is duplicate. Just what it says, duplicate. So you can duplicate single things. You can also highlight and duplicate multiple items at a time. And then contour, let's pull up an image and let me show you for this one. So I'm going to show you for contour. This image right here is sorry, it's a little bit busy here. Let me just erase some of these things. Okay, contour comes in handy for a lot of things. Okay, so for this one, for instance, what I'm gonna do is, this is actually set, if you go to edit, you can see that this is a print and cut, and I do not want to print and cut, I want to just cut this out. So I am going to change the print here to no fill. And what that's gonna do is turn it all gray. But I want the lettering one color and the bottom another color. So what I'm gonna do now is go to and change the whole thing purple and this is under edit. So I'm going to change it to purple. I am going to go back to my actions and duplicate, and I will show you the contour shortly. And then I'm going to go back to edit and I'm going to change this one to blue. So now I have two different ones, right? And that's not exactly what we want. We want to hide the heart in one and then the wording on the other. So I'm going to go back to actions and I'm going to go to hide contour. And what I'm going to do is, now I want to go through and I want to hide. And you go through and click on all of the parts that you want to hide. Close out. So now here the mermaid is the heart is gone, and so now I'm going to click on this one and hit hide contour, and now I'm going to click on the wording up here. Let's get with my mouse. I'm going to zoom in here. Click away, and here now you can see that we have contoured and hidden all of those to make an actual cut. And you know that it's a cut when you click on edit and you see cut and no fill. So this is going to be a cut image. So the cut again is, if you want to change to, if you have a Maker or the Explorer or Explorer 2, if you want to draw, this is what where you would find that. So you would click on draw, and then, you know, if you have multiple pins in multiple colors, you could select those there. If you want a score line, so you can fold cards or different shapes, you would hit. If you have a maker and you want to engrave, that's where you would find that one. And for debossing, wave, and then to perforate. Okay, so this is where you would find all these different kinds of settings here. So I'm gonna go back to cut and then hit apply. Okay, and then no fill and fill. Again, if you're printing, if you want to print multiple colors, you would go to print and cut. You can hit the original, or you can determine what color you want if you're going to print stickers and decals and stuff. But you would always have no fill if you're working on a cut image. These here, if you know the exact dimensions that you want this, you could say here, I just want this 4 inches by 4, then it would resize it for you. If you want to rotate it a certain degrees, you know, 90 degrees, it will turn it however you'd want. And then, or the plus and minus, if you just want it slightly angled, it will rotate it for you. Okay, the horizontal and vertical here. So if you have, okay, let's say these shapes here, and you duplicated them. So I'm gonna go back to my actions, I'm gonna duplicate it, and one of them I wanted, you know, opposite, so you can horizontally flip them, or you can vertically flip them. That's especially helpful if you are done a lot of things like this, where I have, you know, I'm making different shapes. Oops, actually, let me just duplicate this. And I have them angled. So I have these two, and this one I have angled, and I'm like, oh no, how am I gonna find the exact angle of the other line? So what I do is I can put this line here, then I would duplicate that line. Actually, I'm gonna erase this one, and then I would hit horizontally flip, and then it would be on the other side. So if I was doing, you know, something here with shapes, and I wanted those angles to be the exact same, to be even on both sides, that would come in handy to flip them. The positioning that's just telling me what part on my mat it is. So if I'm trying to print multiple colors at a time, and I have a purple square here and I have a blue square here, I can tell it, oh, I put a piece of blue vinyl and I put it on my 8-inch, and I put the lower end at 7 inches, then it would move it exactly where I had my blue vinyl prior to printing. The arrange button is going to move them sending forward or backwards. So if you are working on multiple layers, then you can, oh here, sorry, that was not showing up. So here the arrange will show. So if you say send to back, it will go all the way back. If you have like 5 or 6 layers on top and you only want the blue to come up 1 layer, then you would just say move forward, and that would come up 1 layer, but since there's only 2 here, it would go all the way to the front. So send to front brings it all the way, and move forward just goes 1 layer at a time, or move backwards. For the align button here, if I'm trying to get them really straight in a certain position, this is when this align tool comes in handy. Oh, actually for like this one here, and I want to get it exactly in the middle of this one, I could say center, and it would move my heart exactly in the center. And it has all kinds of different options for you here if you want to align it in different ways. But center is both sides, but align center and align middle are 2 different ones, but center does both of those at the same exact time. All right, so the layers page here is actually showing basically what every single thing is going to in this instance to cut. So this is going to show that this is what it's going to cut here, the black. It has it all broken down. What you can do is you can click on that, and to make this go away, it doesn't slide. It's kind of a pain. You have to actually hit the layers button again, and that will go away. But the layers, this is where you would find the layers tab. And that definitely comes in handy if you're trying to look to see if there's different colors or how many different things you have on your board to print. And there is also another quick duplicate button here. And if you decide, hey, I really only want to print the mermaid thing right now, this little eyeball here will actually hide those on your board, and it will not print them. It doesn't delete them, so if you decide you want to go back to this later, you can, instead of erasing it and losing that shape or image. That will help. If you just hide them, then it will not print them at the time. Or you can erase it if you didn't want it at all. And then hit the undo. So now on my board is just the mermaid heart. Here's the undo button in redo. Obviously, if you made a mistake or you backed up too much, you're like, oh no, I wanted to redo that. That's where these ones are. So just slide these over. Okay, so the next feature we're going to discuss is the camera. So this feature is pretty cool. It doesn't actually take the picture, but you can use this to see what an item might look like on like a jar or a picture or something. So for instance, here, I'm going to show you this, and then I can resize, and here you can see, okay, this is what this would look like on this jar. So it will kind of help you with sizing, positioning, does it fit right? Is it too long, too short? But it can help give you a better idea of what that would look like on that particular item that you want to put it on. And just to get rid of it, you just click on the camera button again. I wanted to go back and go to the sink. This down here. This actually allows you here, it says drag and drop layers to consolidate material colors. For instance, if you have a bunch of different shapes, let's say, and I'm gonna make one, let's say green. Okay, so here are all the different colors. So if you want to make all of them black and you don't want to go through, you just uploaded a whole bunch of images, you don't want to go through and change them all you do is you click on the sink, and then you just take the item here and then you just drag it up and it will change it. And then this one will do the same thing if that's where you want, if you want to make them all the same color. And that is how you can, instead of clicking on individual items to change colors, that's how you can quickly consolidate them all to the same color. Or if you have a bunch that you thought were black and they were actually dark gray, like for eyes, and you're printing a whole bunch of different things and you're like, why is it printing on 12 different pages? It might just be because the color is just slightly different. So this is where you can go to consolidate and make sure that it's all going to print everything that you think is going to be black on black. So it definitely comes in handy. And then settings, you know, if you want to do metrics, if you want the grid. Mine is the smart guides, and what that is if I'm moving, you can see these yellow lines that come up. That's showing me, like right now, that it's right at the center. Here it's at the top border, the bottom border of this one. So it kind of helps guide you. I will tell you sometimes that's a pain, so if you don't want those on, that's where you would go to turn them off and say smart guides off. I do find if the image is fairly small, it is kind of hard to work on your phone. If you're trying to move just very teeny tiny amounts, it can move a little bit, but then sometimes it will jump. And what I have found, if I want to make very, very tiny movements, I need to make my images much, much, much bigger. so I can get my images to move just a very small amount at a time instead of a full square. And then the Make It button is obviously where you would go to send it to your Cricut. Don't forget to save your work and title those. I really hope that this tutorial helps you feel a little bit more comfortable on where and what all of these different things do on your design space. I do know it's a learning curve, and there are some definite differences between the computer and the phone and iPad. Please let me know in the comment section below if there's any other tips and tricks that you have or things that you would like to learn about in my future tutorials. Thank you. Bye.
If you love my mommy's video, give her a thumbs up.